everyone, and welcome down to episode number 94 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia, and the dude on the other screen chortling in the background.
Shit.
It's Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. Hello, Cameron.
Hello, Brendan. I don't think we're going to get to 100 episodes. I think the wheels are falling off this show really quickly.
I think you make it you try your hardest to upset the apple cart just before I'm about to launch into the intro.
Yeah.
And all you end up doing is making yourself laugh.
That's all I do is crack myself up. I've got him here.
You can't throw me.
I've got him here. I'm going. This will get him, and then welcome everyone. And then off you go. I'm like, I can't keep a straight face.
No.
Anyway,
but it was an absolute zinger. Well done.
It was a good, yes. How are you, mate? You going well?
Tippity top, thank you. Isn't it incredible what happens when the weather changes?
Isn't it?
It's just great. I mean, this was one of the few winters over the last few years where I haven't left Ocean Grove. Other than a couple of trips up north in Victoria.
Yeah.
But haven't traveled. So normally we might have a few days, in up in Queensland, or I might go over to Perth or somewhere. But no, nice. This time I've stuck the whole winter out, and I'm proud of myself.
Good on you. It wasn't really much of a winter, was it? Really? Not for us down here. Like we usually get, it's fairly cold down here. But I think I can only think of 3 snow dumps out of the whole winter that we had down here.
Yeah. Normally you'd get half a dozen or so, wouldn't you?
Easily, yeah. Usually get a few, but winter was a bit, well, it depends how you look at it. It was a bit disappointing or it was a bit satisfying. I don't know, but we've sprung into spring.
Oh, it's definitely nice to see it. So,
yeah.
Let's kick off with a bit of housekeeping. First of all, thank you to everyone for liking, following, and subscribing the channel. 635 subs on YouTube is nothing to be sneezed at. No. We say it often, but it's great to see the channel growing organically. Our August photo comp that we announced the winner of a week ago, whenever we did that.
Sounds good. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
whatever it was.
Yeah.
The People's Choice edition of that is now up on our Facebook page. Thank you, Mr. Blake, for putting those up for us.
You're welcome. Yep, no problems at all. I almost forgot to put them up, but they're there.
So would you like to tell everyone what they need to do now?
So what they need to do is go to the Down South Photo Show Facebook page. There is a pinned post. So it's the pinned post. Don't do what some of the people did that entered and put the entry into another post that was referring back to the pinned post. You need to go to you need to go back to the pinned post that's on there. And that's got I think it's a top, what is it? A top 6, I think it is. I think we have a top six
or seven it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And all you need to do is go in there and like the ones you can like them all. You can like one, you can, like 2, it's up to you. Go and like the ones you like. And at the end of this month, which is another 16 or so days from where we are now, we'll tally up the votes, and the person who gets the most votes out of that, they will get a $100 voucher from you, from Ocean Grove Camera and Photo.
They will indeed. So I'm looking forward to seeing the winner of that, because we've had a tough time choosing a winner. So
that was a tough one.
Yeah, it will be really interesting to see where the people go. And I am just bringing the post up now. That would be the pinned post, which I can now see. Click on it easily. Don't the photos look great all together?
Well, you know what? They do. And it sort of gave me a little bit of satisfaction when we put that up there, that, we actually did pick the colorful images. That was sort of the theme. Like there's nothing out there that's you can't say, that's not colorful.
It's definitely not. No, they're all great. And if I have a quick flick through, I'm just doing that now just to see who. Oh, okay. Oh, well, yes.
There is a bit of a clear winner at the moment, but
not by much. But yes, there is a clear winner.
I reckon that might change by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah, no, it's always good to see the People's Choice. That's what it's there for. We want people to give us some feedback on what they thought about the comp. A little bit more housekeeping as well. Cam and I have both, over the last few nights, been involved with local camera clubs.
Oh yes, I didn't know where you were going with that.
which was pretty awesome. So for me, it's a shout out to the Colac Camera Club, who very kindly invited me down to judge their bi-monthly competition. And without blowing smoke anywhere, I was very, very impressed with the standard. And I said as much on the night. I was very impressed with the standard of entrance. It was great. There was, I think 15 or so people that rocked up to hear me pay out on their photos.
Well, I heard that was quite a productive judging session. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's always tough, isn't it, when you're judging and you're in front of the people literally who took the
Mm.
photo and you're passing judgment. I don't get the names of the people; I just get the photos.
Yeah.
And you know,
How much abuse did you get? Any or?
I got a wee bit of feedback straight after the meeting, but nothing I can't handle, and
Yeah.
that's totally fine.
Yes.
And it was all in good sport in the end. So
Right. Until you got outside and your tires were all slashed and
that's right. And I had
windows.
to literally hitchhike from Colac
Yeah.
to Ocean Grove
Yeah.
in the freezing cold, but that was
Yeah.
okay. It was fine. But
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed that. So I have told them already that I'll be back next year.
So the judging, was that on a theme of some sort at this camera club?
So they had they have so bi-monthly, the way this camera club works, they have an open theme, but then they have an actual theme as well, and you can enter both. And the theme this time around was dark and moody.
Like what's I was going to say, what's behind you there? Yeah,
yours isn't far off either.
Yeah.
And the themes were really well adhered to, and there was some cracking images, really cool stuff. So it was great to see. I really enjoyed it.
Cool. And question without notice, because you do this to me.
Yes.
What would you say was the standout, I guess, consistency through the shots you liked? So was it nice compositions, or was it good editing, or what do you reckon?
Composition always. I mean, composition definitely, scored, and you score an image out of 15. No one scored full points. It's got to be pretty special for me to give a 15.
Jesus, you are a bloody hard ass.
There was 2 14s.
No 14 and a halves?
No, I wouldn't have let her score half points. So, and I wouldn't have anyway. But there was one particular shot that I was really taken with. It was a storm over a like a field with the big round hay bales.
Oh yes, yep.
But had that in the foreground and an old shed, but the big clouds, very similar to lighting to the photo that's behind you, which we'll get to in a sec. Cool. Where the foreground's all lit up and the dark foreboding sky above. I didn't have to judge an image of the night because they all fell into different categories, but that for me would have been the image of the night for sure.
Very cool. Nice.
And yourself, you're in my.
I was in Geelong last night.
Digitally.
Virtually.
That's correct.
Virtually. So I did a presentation. Thanks very much to the Geelong Camera Club and Paul and the guys there for inviting me along. We had a big chat about landscape photography and just how to see the light and capture the light and shoot for the light. So it seemed to be very well received. I got an applause at the end, which was lovely. And I had actually one of my customers from the week before who was in part of that club. He sat in and gave me some great feedback afterwards as well. So I enjoy doing those presentations. I think it's good fun. And we showed off it was really just a plug for Tassie, really. It's all these beautiful Tassie spots we go to and how we capture the light. So it was really good. And I just got asked to do another presentation next year. They're already booking me in for next year, Brendan. It's like I'm a movie star or something.
They strike while the iron's hot.
They do. This one is in my old stomping ground of Greensboro, the Diamond Valley Camera Club. So I can't say no to that.
No, you cannot.
My only thing is I've just got to be let back into Diamond Valley. They'll let me back in or not.
See, I need to find out if there's a Swan Hill Photographic Society.
Oh, surely there's got to be one.
Or Camera Club, Photographic Society, whatever.
Surely
you're googling it as we speak.
Oh,
so,
I am. Yeah.
Surely, wouldn't it be cool to go back as an alumni? And I like the sound of that.
Cool. There's a Swan Hills Photography Society, but that's in WA.
True.
Oh, there'll be one for sure. There we go. Swan Hill, Swan Valley. No,
maybe there's not.
Maybe I would have thought someone of your prestige, like they would have known about you anyway.
If you are listening from Swan Hill and the region, it's time. Get a camera club going. I'll be your first guest speaker.
Well, maybe we should investigate that when we're up there next month.
And start one, and then just leave.
start a camera club. It's like starting a new business and just pass it over. You reckon?
Exactly, Cameron. It is your week to talk to go first with background. So
okay.
So stop Googling and start.
I just got asked a question from the Camera Clubs of Australia website if I need any assistance digitally. I better shut that down. Okay. What am I doing? Background. Okay, background.
Yes, please.
So this is just the other day at the wonderful Stanley, which is on the northwest coast of beautiful Tasmania, and that big rock formation is called the Nut. And yes, every time we go there, there is jokes about nut and the nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's really cold, the nut doesn't look as big, and all these different things that we get.
And where's the other one and all
where's
that?
the other one? This nut must have slipped out. All those kind of things. We have lots of fun with that. So, but this is just behind me. There's an old convict ruins, which is another great sort of location to shoot. But I had some people down the end of the road. You can see the little bus down there. So I had 3 people down there and then 4 people at the back. So I was sort of swapping and changing between the 2 little locations, a couple hundred meters. And as I was walking back towards the bus to make sure that the people down there were getting this cloud formation in the light, I had to stop and just did a shot with the road in the middle and that beautiful line of trees onto the right, which are actually sort of half dead underneath. So it looks like they're even more orange than what the light was, which I thought was pretty cool. But we just had this really moody sort of weather come in. Now, I'm not sure if you saw it, Brendan, but I did a live video from the edge of the world the other week, and it was blowing its backside off. This is the morning of. So as they say, red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning.
Yeah, I saw that bit of footage where you and your clients were almost being blown away.
It was, I would say it was easily gusting up to about 150 k's an hour there. It was like, you just like, when people do that thing where they lean into the wind and the wind just holds them up. We had no problem doing that at all. Right. It was very cool. But yeah, that's a Stanley, and we just had that beautiful golden light. But again, this is a tip I gave to the camera club last night about chasing the light. If there's some really crappy weather coming in the afternoon and it's been an okay day before, you're most likely going to get some really sort of crazy, moody sunrises to start the day. So if you think it's going to be a crappy day, get out there before it gets there and get that light. So,
well, little pro tip in between when we're talking about our backgrounds, the amount of times where it'll be a drab day, particularly near the coast for some reason, but it'll be a drab, like skies like we've both got in our backgrounds, but no sun at all, just gray.
Yeah.
And then literally 3 minutes before sunset, the sun just peaks out behind there's a band where there's no cloud, and whack, it just lights up.
Yeah.
If I had $1 for every time I've looked out my front friggin' window and gone, yep, could have called that,
you'd have $20.
I've had a few bucks.
Hey, that's something, before you go into your background, that's something that people just don't look at, I don't find, is if people go to sunset and they all look up at the clouds like, oh, what's it going to do? Is it going to be okay? I'm like, how about you look out where the sun's going to disappear?
That's right.
And if there's clear sky there and you've got all cloud up here, most likely it's going to get under that cloud when it sets and light it all up. And people sort of go, oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't notice that. So if you're doing a sunset, another pro tip, make sure you just keep an eye right on the horizon. If there's a really heavy cloud band, then most likely it's going to fizzle out. But if there's a slither of light or clear sky through there, there's a fair chance you're going to get like this sort of light underneath all the clouds here. So keep an eye out for that. But anyway, enough of me crapping on. What have you got behind you?
You can crap on as much as you like, mate.
I crap on with the best of them. That's why we do well on this show.
This is the ocean. This is Ocean Grove. So this is the Barwon River. So this is the river that separates Ocean Grove from Barwon Heads.
Right.
If you turned 180 degrees from where I've taken that photo, you were at the Ocean Grove golf course. Right. Yeah, this is the jetty, and it's such a cool structure when you get reflections because it's just thin, as you can see, and you can get all kinds of sunset action there. This would have been one of the nights where I've gone down hoping that the sun would go ballistic like it has happened in your background, but it just didn't quite. So I just made use of what we had. Good low tide, nice reflection, couple of people on the jetty to add a bit of scale, always helps.
Yeah.
Fairly straightforward kind of shot. It's actually, I did 3 frames on this and turned into quite a wide panorama as well. But that's obviously the main crux of the photo right there. So
another question with that notice, because I'm just in the mood for questions today.
Oh, bring it on, mate.
Bring it on. So you do a lot of canvas printing for yourself. Like I would say, without trying to be offensive, you're more of a canvas printer than a print printer.
No, I prefer printing on canvas. Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you find that you shoot more towards that medium of canvas, or it doesn't matter? So you don't, if you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a great big canvas, I'll shoot it this way so it gets really moody or whatever.
No, not necessarily. I think I just shoot to something that's going to look good on a wall. I don't. I don't even do that. It's just I just stick to the what we talk about a lot on the show, the principles of better photography. Composition being the main one.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't really think. I suppose you're partly right though. Maybe subconsciously I do think like that, because a lot of my photos do end up on, big, like 2 meter wide canvases.
Yeah.
I suppose a little bit of that is chasing the really, the awe-inspiring shots a lot,
Yeah.
the atmospheric shots that do look good on a wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think also lately I've sort of been steering away from that a little bit, using the big zoom lens to, get smaller areas, which when you think about it, probably don't, this is going to sound contradiction in terms, but it sounds a bit weird to make such a small area of a photo massive, but I think that's what really works.
Yeah.
It's that, and I love seeing macro photography huge, like
Yeah.
stupid big. I think it has a real impact when you can see something that's meant to be a few millimeters across, literally a meter across.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, some of those macro shots, especially like the spiders and the bugs and stuff like that, where you can see all the dots of their eyes, and once they're blown up to bigger. And the other reason I asked that question is because that shot behind you is quite moody and grungy, sort of. It's a really stormy looking thing. But I reckon I've noticed with some of your shots though, that there is, I think, we've all got a bit of a style how we shoot. And I think you do have a style that really does adapt itself to canvas printing, like those, like you said, those big canvases with lots of detail and lots of mood and stuff like that. So I was just interested in whether or not maybe subconsciously you might shoot that way because that's going to look good that way.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably onto something. And like when I did Point Lonsdale a couple of weeks ago, a lot of those shots have already ended up on canvas, which is great. But you're right, that the style of photography that I do generally will lend itself to big canvas printing. So I guess what came first here, the chicken or the egg? I'm not sure whether it was my photography that, ended up on canvas, or because I was doing big canvases, I changed my style of photography. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, like I imagine you probably adapted, you probably, when you're at the markets in the early days and things that were working, and you're like, oh, that sells really well, and that's the style of shot that sells well.
Can I just talk about that for a second? And people are going to think, Brendan, you wanker.
How's that any different to any other episode?
True. I want to say this was 1998. Wow. Yeah, I know this is going back away. When I was doing the Yamundi markets up in Queensland, and I had a big panoramic photo, and what I did was it was a panoramic image of, I think, the Maroochy River or something. And what I did just to try something a bit different at the markets was I left a massive big white border and put it in a frame. And a customer came up. She was looking and she loved it. She said it was really good. And then she said, "Do you print on canvas?" This is in 1998. And I said, "What do you mean?"
Painting canvas.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it. The internet was still relatively in its infancy, so there wasn't a lot of information. Anyway, I went to my printer at the time and I said, can I print on canvas? And he sort of looked at me
what is
like,
this canvas stuff? Yes.
Yeah. And he said, I think there's, anyway, and he went into his back catalog and blah, blah, and he found this company that was making pre-primed canvas to go through large format printers.
Right.
And I said, let's give it a crack. And so I'd like to think I was one of the pioneers with canvas printing in Australia. I reckon it was around 98.
Wow.
Anyway, the long story short, we printed one on canvas. And then I took it to my framer for him to stretch it, and he stretched it, and the photo fell off it. Like literally came away from the canvas. So
great.
That's when we learnt about overspraying and actually getting them flat on which was great. And then of course the Ilford and all these guys came up with canvases that you didn't have to do that with. They're all pre-primed and you could stretch them. So
it wasn't a scratch and sniff canvas.
Thank goodness, because it would have been on the ground. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah, cool. Good. That's like I said, like you're easily the person I know the most that's done canvases for the longest.
Yeah.
You sort of got me on the canvases when I was doing things like that look good, and I'd see something you did. I'm like, oh, that'll be. I could do something like that.
There's a lot to like about them, and I think the main thing that I've always used this when I sell canvas to people is canvas just lets the photo do the talking.
Yeah.
So if you've got a stretch canvas with no frame on it, it's the photo. That's all it is. There's no glass, there's no glare, there's no reflection. They're relatively lightweight. They're easy to clean. They're easy to hang.
Yeah.
And the matte canvas finish, please, folks, if you can, steer away from gloss canvas. I think it's.
I didn't even know they did. I didn't even know they did gloss canvas.
A waste of space. That all it does is reflects any light. And it's like you might as well put glass over canvas. No, steer away from it. In my humble opinion, I think it looks way better. The matter, the better with canvas. So you can actually see a bit of the weave of the canvas coming through when you look closely at it. I think that looks fantastic. We can put floating frames on canvases now, which looks stunning.
I reckon they look really good with floating frames.
Unfortunately, they bloody well cost an arm and a leg, so they'd want to look good. But yeah, again, I just love canvases, and if you're doing a good landscape, put it on a canvas that's a meter wide. Start there.
Yeah.
Small canvases, man, put them in a frame. Put that, print it and put in a frame as a normal photo. Do your canvases nice and big. I think it rocks.
I reckon I've got about 1,000 photos I could do a meter wide.
Well, those ones we did for you, the last ones we did, the vertical ones, I think they ended up at your brother's place. Is that right?
No, they're in upstairs, up in the Camp Lake Gallery. Yeah.
Oh, mate, they just came up a treat. They were so good. They were taken off. Was it Maria Island where you got those?
No, that was up in Bruny Island. Yeah,
Bruny. Beg your pardon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They look like there's the one with that rock, the sea spray and the rock that that's in my kitchen at the moment, or in the sort of side bit of the kitchen, and every time we walk in, I'm like, geez, that looks good.
Yeah, it does. Who took that? Treat.
Yeah, so
yeah, that's right.
Anyway, awesome.
We'll just keep talking amongst ourselves while people listen.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to flip the episode a little bit.
Beer donations. No.
Not that far. I'm going to start with Dear Cam because it segues beautifully into our first subject. So, Dear Cam.
Dear Cam. I had nothing to do with this Dear Cam. Or did I? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll
find out. We'll find out how this goes down.
This Dear Cam comes from Glyn L. Oh, no, look, that's way too obvious. Let's say G Lavender.
Lavender, that's better. Yes.
No one will know.
Yeah. And he doesn't watch the show, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. Dear Cam, it's a short and sweet one. Will BFOP be any fun? ?
Right, that's a great question, Glyn. Really great question.
Now, but for those of you
what
who
is
don't
BFOP?
Know, correct. Yes. Well, BFOP literally stands for the Bright Festival of Photography, Cameron, and it happens on the middle weekend the second weekend of October.
Right.
And basically, what you do is you get on, you buy a ticket, and then you have BFOP credits where you can spend those on workshops, and it happens in Bright in the High Country of Victoria. And it runs over 3 days, and you, Mr. Blake, are running a few workshops there.
I am, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, to answer Glyn's question, it probably won't be fun because he's also presenting at the Bright Festival of Photography. So all the fun is going to be easily supped out of it by Glyn's appearance. But
yes,
I think people will have fun. And like I said, he doesn't listen to this show, so there's no way he's going to ring us up and say, I didn't ask you a Dear Cam question. You're taking the piss. He's not going to do that at all. No. So like I said, this segues beautifully into our topic about the Bright Festival of Photography.
Yes.
So yeah, you're right. It's the first full weekend of October. So second weekend of October, technically. Sure. So yeah, it's 3 days, and it's if you're listening to this on whatever day it is, the 15th of September or the next Monday, whatever it is, don't bother going to BFOP unless you've already got tickets because it's already sold out. It has already
sold out.
Yeah, it's all locked in. It's all ready to go. We're only a few weeks away. So, but put it in your diary for 2024 because it is incredibly good fun. But yeah, I think there's over 80 workshops over 3 days.
Yes.
I think there's about 30 presenters. And they have a big marquee, the whole township of Bright. I've said it before, and I say it to people who are coming along, and like I love Bright, like I've got a real emotional connection to Bright. But every time I drive in there for BFOP, the best thing, instead of seeing all the people in Lycra or all the people from Melbourne in their toffee four-wheel drives or all the other wankers that go to Bright every other time of the year, all you do is you see people walking around with tripods and cameras, and it's like, this is like a camera town, like this is a photography town, and it's really
it's like my people, isn't it?
These are my people. That's right. So it's really cool like that, and it has a really good buzz. One of the main rules for BFOP is to check your ego at the door. Again, I don't know how Glyn is going to do that. I don't think there's a door big enough to check his ego. Along with him and TP, I'm sure. I wonder if they know each other. I'm sure they do.
Maybe they've been in a room together.
I don't know. I don't think there's a room big enough to manage their two egos. But but there's a lot of characters that go. It is a lot of fun. Little story about BFOP that I heard it. I'm not sure if it's folklore or whether or not it's truth or whatever. But
I want to hear this.
Yeah, I want to hear it. So the idea of BFOP, from what I've heard, is that now Nick and Matt run the BFOP festival, and I think Nick knows the guy that runs the brewery in Bright really well. And there was a conversation around about how the Bright Brewery could sponsor something with beer, like just a bit of a joke, I think it was. And the way I heard the story was that they were both having a chat, and the guy in the Bright Brewery said, "Well, if you can put a festival on, we'll sponsor it with beer." And Nick's like, "Well, I don't know anything about festivals and stuff like that." And then they said, "Let's just put a photography festival on and let's see what happens." And that's how I understand that the BFOP party sort of started. It was almost a bit of a joke, like, if you can get a festival, I'll give you free beer for it. I'll probably be corrected. That might be just folklore rumors that I've heard, but if that is the case, that sort of gives you an idea of what sort of fun you're in for the weekend.
Well, us, Cam, we never let the truth get in the way of a good story, and that sounds like a good story.
That sounds like a good story, but it is a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm running. Generally, most presenters will run 4 workshops over the weekend and just repeat 2 workshops. So I'm doing 2 sunrises and I'm doing 2 black and white workshops for the weekend there. There's heaps of presentations. So when the presenters are not out in the field doing workshops, we're generally in the marquee presenting stuff or giving lessons on things or just wandering around talking to people. You can ask questions and pull us aside. It is full on though. Like as a presenter, you get to the end of the weekend and you are absolutely knackered.
Yeah.
And the one thing, and I'll apologize now to everyone who's listening who comes to BFOP, if I don't remember your name or where I know you're from, please don't take offense. It's just like people come and say, "Oh, hey, Cam, I was on your workshop 5 years ago, that one day, Little Olympus." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sorry, I don't remember you."
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but you're coming along as well.
I am.
And we are recording a show up there. Is that correct?
Look, I'd like to think we'd be able to. It depends on more your availability because I'm literally coming along as a punter. A paid up punter, mind you. And
yes, they wouldn't give you a free ticket, would they? No. the amount of plugging we give them.
No, but that's fine. And I'm happy to pay my way. And I've actually booked myself into a workshop or 2. So I'm quite, because you never, you can never learn too much. There's a couple of areas of photography that I've always wanted to get into. One of them is definitely sports photography. So I've got myself into a little sports photography workshop while I'm up there, photographing some mountain bikers and stuff. So I'm keen on that.
Yeah.
And I may also have put my name down with G Lavender as well, but we will.
Again, I can't wait to see how this all goes down.
Well, I'll be the fly on the wall for you, mate. I will be the canary in the coal mine.
Please,
I can tell you exactly what's going on.
Please feedback. It was it's funny. Like I almost feel like, again, he doesn't listen to this, so it's okay. But I almost feel like when I first got invited to BFOP, it was almost like all these people had to go into bat for me to say, "Oh yeah, no, he's good at what he does, and he's all right. He's not an idiot. He'll fit well for the mold." And I'm pretty sure that the organizers, if there's new people coming in, they'll sort of just suss out, is this person okay, or are they an absolute maniac and they're going to ruin the whole vibe and stuff like that. And I got asked about Glenn, and I'm like, you've got to have Glenn there,
100%,
just for the entertainment value. Most likely, people will not learn anything off him, and most likely you won't get a word in anyway.
Yeah, and he's highly likely to offend someone, but that's the way the guy rolls, and that's totally fine.
And that's why we love him so much.
We do.
He just wears his heart on his sleeve. God love him. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun, and I can't wait. Like, hopefully the weather. Last year we had on the first night, they made an announcement on stage that everyone had to go to the local wood mill and start building an ark because there was that much rain coming. They were expecting like 40 or 50 mil of rain, and it did come a bit. The marquee had a river running through the middle of it. But yeah, it's great fun. And
I'd like to think that was roughly around the time because remember the Murray flooded last year, so it was probably around then.
I reckon it was. And
it definitely was because at the back end of October, I was up in Swan Hill and she was in flood.
Yeah, actually, that's right because I came back from the Flinders Ranges just before the last BFOP, and the Murray was in flood there too. Yes,
that's right. Yeah, it was pretty full on.
Yeah, so if you haven't got your tickets, then that's bad luck for you guys, but you definitely look at it next year. There's 500 tickets being sold. The workshops went online earlier this week, and I believe there's still a few spots left in the workshops for those that are going. I was really shocked. Mine sold out really quickly, which is great.
Nobody's shocked by that, Cam.
Well, I am because it means I've got to get up early and I can't get on the beers the night before.
Yeah, well, Well, I'm going to be
Well,
there, so you
that's
might have
fair.
to. I'm
I'll,
afraid.
I'll I'll be on the beers. I don't have to drive anywhere. It's all bus driving.
We'll have one or two.
Yes,
Yeah.
or five.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, if we can squeeze in an hour of Cam's time, and we can
Yeah,
heal
I
off a
reckon.
podcast.
I reckon
Probably
we
even the
can.
Friday morning before things kick off, we might be able to do it then, or
Yeah,
even in the main marquee.
yeah.
Not sure. We'll work that out.
I'll talk. There's a couple of Wes is the he's the Bevan of the
Oh,
BFOP, really.
very good.
Yeah. So I'll have a talk to him. I reckon we can rig something up near the marquee or out the side of the marquee where we can sit down. He actually does every year he does a podcast of the festival, and he gets the presenters to come on and have a chat. So he'll be set up for it anyway. Okay. We might be able to borrow his booth for an hour. But I was just looking at our episode. What is this? What episode is this? 94?
This is 94.
So 95, 96.
We're
It'll
not
be
going to quite make the ton when we're there.
It's going to be about 97, unless we do like 3 episodes of BFOP. But no,
we cram just so we can make the 100th.
Yeah, no.
Well, I'm actually optimistic that our 100th episode will be recorded at our Mallee workshop, but we'll just see.
Right, that'd be good. But anyway,
what happens there.
So those going to BFOP, yourself and everyone else, I hope to see you there. Come and say good day. You don't need to buy us beer at BFOP. No, Mel, unless Mel wants to. Mel can buy me a beer.
Should we tell people about the little merch thing we're planning, or
yeah? Have you finished it?
I think I'm pretty sure I'll get it done.
Okay.
We might have a few little bumper stickers available for people. Yeah. So, but we are limiting it to the first 200 people.
Right.
To come and.
Are they free?
We're going to have 194 bumper stickers left at the end of BFOP, I think.
Well, I've got my car there. You'll have yours there.
That's right.
I can tell you now. I reckon I know one car I'm going to be sticking it onto. So
yeah. Well, I think what we're going to hatch a little plan that basically every car in Bright's going to have a Down South Photo Show bumper sticker on it. And then throughout the year, we want people to send us a photo of your car, and the person in the coolest spot that has a photo of our bumper sticker on their car will win a prize.
Here you go. Here's one right off the top of my head. Right,
I like this.
You like this? So we'll do this, and then we'll give people until maybe March or April next year or something like that. And the person who comes up with the best photo of their car bumper sticker somewhere cool, I will buy them a ticket to 2024 BFOP.
Oh, wow. Now that's now we might have to run that past the organisers of BFOP, but apparently we're now giving away their product for them.
Well, the tickets for BFOP go on sale the day after it finishes.
That's right.
But I will buy one, and I will have one available. Yep. As a prize, and I don't think Matt and Nick will care.
No, of course they won't.
They're rolling in cash. What's one extra ticket?
Cross promotion for BFOP. So
there you go. We'll give you more details about that, but that's
very, very much looking forward to that weekend. That's going to be a lot of fun. We want to talk, because spring is here. We thought we'd just quickly talk about a little bit of spring cleaning. Now, what exactly were we relating to this to, Cam? Can you remember what we were talking about when we at our production meeting?
No, I think in regards to spring cleaning, like I know for me, especially after winter, generally your gear can get a bit dirtier and wet, and your filters get a bit more fog and condensation on them. So I know that at the start of spring, maybe not right on the start of spring, but I seem to have a little bit of time in spring where I'm like, let's pull all the gear out. Let's tighten all the tripod legs up. Let's get them all clean. Let's make sure they're all clean of gunk. Clean the screens. One of the big things I've cleaned lately that I didn't think need cleaning was my viewfinder. So I was looking through it one day. I'm like, why is this just dots and crap all over my shots here? So I looked at the sensor, I looked at the lens. I'm like, oh, it's the viewfinder. So it only takes you 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Grab your gear out. Get a nice cleaning cloth, give everything a nice wipe down, make sure it's all working, make sure you got no scratches or things like that. I noticed yesterday that one of my Olympus lenses, the rubber weather sealing around the lens mount had started coming loose. So it's almost like it's expanded. It's got this little loop of rubber hanging out the mount. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to have a look at that to see what I'm doing with that. So, we all say spring cleaning is great. You clean the house out and open all windows up, let some fresh air. Do the same with your camera gear. Get it out there, and
there's nothing worse. It's a heartbreaker when you're out in the field. You take an awesome photo, you see it on your screen, great, but then you on your camera screen, and then you put it on your computer screen at home, which is 30 inches wide, and go, look how terrible that looks. You've got a filthy sensor, you've got smudges on the lens, the light path gets corrupted. It's just I was out shooting last night. I'm shooting some video for a mate of mine, his son, who's a very keen golfer. I'm shooting some video of him for a promotion. And, luckily I was shooting video because I was moving and we're shooting straight into the sun. And it was just like, oh my God, look how filthy this lens is.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it still had overland track dirt on it.
So, that overland track, that stays with you forever.
Oh, yes. I've got crap on my lens for all of time.
I don't have it here, but where it does get in. What really annoys me, and you can clean it a bit if you use an earbud and maybe some alcohol to clean or something like that.
Yes,
but when the top of your dials, how ASP, they're all white, and they just sometimes get grime and dirt in there. So instead of having an S, you've got like half an S because it's covered in dirt. That shits me to tears. Out. I look at that, I'm like, oh, that's dirty, and so you're right. Like I actually did a one-on-one client up at Mount Field just yesterday, and we were doing a sunburst. We got some nice sun coming through these beautiful rainforests, and her camera was immaculate. Really, it was just clean, almost brand new, probably. And I put my camera up to show her an example of how to create that sunstar, and it looked like someone had sneezed on the front of my lens. I'm like, okay, I got to clean the filter.
Yeah.
It's also a good time as well. I've been doing this week. If you do have your gear insured through insurance or home and contents, just to make sure that it's all up to date. I've been renewing my business insurance this week, and they sent me a list of the gear that I had on my list of insured gear. I'm like, oh, I haven't had that lens for about 3 years. So I probably need to update that.
Time to update.
Yeah. So be sure to, once a year at least, update your gear and give it a good clean, and just check the contacts of your battery and, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, it only takes 15 minutes or so, but it is the time of year to do some cleaning, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But the point you made about tripod and tightening the tripod legs, it's another one of those things. There's nothing worse when you're out in the field, and you're all set up and you've got everything locked off, and then the tripod just does its little, the leg drops or the head just falls loose and that sort of stuff. It drives me absolutely batty, mate. So but definitely one, and it takes you half an hour. Get a table, put all your gear up on it, and just go over it. Give it a good clean, as you say. Format your memory cards. Get everything ready for photo taking season again. So
and especially like for those coming to BFOP, for example, definitely give your camera a clean. Or if you're going on a holiday somewhere, don't get to the Eiffel Tower and be sitting there with this incredible sunrise of the Eiffel Tower, and hang on a sec, my camera's filthy and I've got to clean it all. Like, you want to go places ready and raring to go, and then really we should all get in the habit of probably giving it a quick clean every time we use it when we come back. But
who does?
Who does? I know. Speaking of tripods, though, I reckon we should do a poll one day, and if you can poll from 1 to 10 the most hated bits of your equipment, tripod's going to win number one every single time.
I think you go pretty close. Either a tripod or a tripod plate. Would be right up there.
Yeah, they're just like, even like the workshop in the Tarkon we did the other day. I reckon everyone at some stage had an issue with their tripod. Same thing, like the legs. I had one customer who kept tightening the head the wrong way. And getting it locked in the wrong way.
It's so easy to do, or loosening it, and you're looking at your thing and you go, all right, this is all solid, and you go to move the camera. Why is that loose? And you're trying to find what part of my tripod is loose.
Yes, and there's the top of your plate. Sometimes they got that Allen key in the top that the actual quick release connects to the head, and if that gets loose, you think it's the plate, you think it's the head, but it's actually the screw down the middle.
That's right.
So that's why image stabilization is the winner, because tripods are almost a thing of the past.
Real quick, we weren't going to we're already, because we do
shows all over the place.
It's off the rails again, and that's totally fine. What else is new? It's only episode 94. You'd think we'd know by now. Really just want to briefly touch on the new iPhone 15 that was announced. And the reason I want to is because, talking about annoying gear, USB cables fry my brain.
Yes.
Finding the right one and having a lightning cable and having a USB-C, and for God's sake, having a USB A that the OM5 charges with.
Oh,
OM
yes.
system, have a good hard look at yourselves. That is a joke. You need the OM52. If it hasn't got USB-C, I ain't buying it. So
look, I think OM systems are dead. I'd be selling all your gear.
that's not a bad idea, actually. I think I might do that.
Yeah.
What brand should I go for? Apple, iPhone?
Go Apple iPhone. But it does have now the USB-C
Correct.
connection.
That's where I was going with that stupid segue. But yes,
but it's good. Good segue. It was good.
No, I think it's great that that they've gone to a USB-C and joined the rest of the world, basically.
Yeah.
Faster charging, faster transfer rates. Thank God. Have you tried to get any video footage from your iPhone?
Yep.
It's a freaking nightmare.
Yeah.
It takes days, Cameron. I grew this beard waiting for a 5-minute high-res video to download.
At what stage, here's another question about that. At what stage do we just say F you to these companies that make us buy their stupid proprietary cables and all the other shit that they send us? At what stage you just turn around and say, you know what, jam it up your rear. I'm not buying your lightning cable anymore because that's the only thing in my entire house that uses a lightning cable. But now everyone's like celebrating because Apple went, oh, wow, we're going to go to USB-C.
Yeah.
Like they're taking the piss for sure.
I will bet my left Stanley nut that some company comes up with USB-D and within 3 years' time, and it's the greatest thing. Samsung chuck it on their phone immediately, and then Apple go, oh, mate, should we, and then
no, we're going back to lightning.
Well, all of a sudden we've got yet another freaking cable that's going to end up wrapped around a porpoise's head.
It's extreme.
That's what happens to them. It all ends up in the ocean. You know that.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at my desk here and I've got a USB-C there. I've got a USB, what that other one was, the charge. These things, talk about, these things are Garmin InReach, right? It's a little satellite GPS thing I took on the overland track. It's got a USB charge. It charges really quick. It lasts for ages. It's really great. But it's one of those old, stupid USB-A things.
Yes.
And do you think you can find one in your box of cables anymore? Because nothing else uses them.
No. So I've actually there's one there. That's a USB-A, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
The original. Yeah. I keep one of those on purpose because I get a lot of people coming into the shop with older cameras that only take that. So and printer cables. Anyway, look, sorry, we can't. We could spend all night on this.
I think we can summarize this quite well. To any company out there that's making some electronic gear that charges via USB, for the love of Christ, just get it all the same. How much extra money are you making selling a stupid lightning cable versus USB-C? And again, they've got us over the barrel. Like I've got an iPhone and I'll buy the next one and I'll buy the next one. And, but at some stage we've got to say no. The people should stand up and say, nope. I'm not doing it.
And where the hell did Canon get off charging $159 for a lithium ion battery?
Canon. There you go. You said it in the first word.
This is their new flash, whatever it's called, flash, takes this proprietary battery that's $159 for one of those. That is $159.
You know what they should do? Nikon and Canon should bring out like this really high-speed memory card that costs $400 and no one's got any stock and you can't use it. What an absolute...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Jeez, we're getting a bit grumpy here, aren't we?
And make it fit one camera and then discontinue that camera.
Yeah, yeah. That again, why? I know I hang shit on Nikon a fair bit, but why the hell would you, if that was me, why the hell would you buy another Nikon? You just go, you know what, jam it. I'm going to Sony or Canon.
Can I throw a really random plug in? And God, it would be so cool to get this guy on the channel. There's a guy out there. His channel's called Camera Conspiracies.
Right.
He's a nutcase, but he is hilarious. He's a Canadian guy.
Is he? Is he the one that walks around? He has a really funny voice. Is that him?
He walks the streets basically and shows slow-mo footage. Camera Conspiracies. Now, he actually started a channel.
Yes, I know this guy. Yeah, he's cool as.
Brilliant. He is so funny. As I say, nutcase, but hysterical. I think his name's Casey. He started a channel like he's a like a vegan lifestyle channel or something like that.
Yes,
healthy eating, all this stuff. And he wanted to be a YouTuber, so he started buying cameras, and it was driving him nuts. He could not. And then it became this search for the perfect camera, which peeled off into this sub channel called Camera Conspiracies, which I think is now doing better than his original channel.
Yeah.
Great channel. I'll link it below. It's really good for a laugh.
He's done 937 videos.
Yeah,
yes, I have seen that guy, and I watch him because he is hilarious.
He is very funny.
We've got to get someone else on the show, can't we?
We're overdue for a guest. If you would like to come on the Down South Photo Show, please hit us up.
I reached out to Thomas Heaton, didn't even get a reply.
Which Thomas has been in Iceland. How good are his videos?
I don't give a shit where he's been. You can at least reply to an email. It's not hard.
We'll keep reaching out. We'll get a guest at some point.
No, he's done his dash. Yeah.
If they'll be reaching out to us soon, Cam.
Exactly right. If Thomas Heaton, if you're watching this, which I doubt you will be, your invite's been revoked because you didn't reply simply to an email. Yeah, even if you told us to get stuffed, at least you're replying. But no.
Yeah. Didn't the guy in Canada tell us to get stuffed?
Yeah, the guy, photo trooper. Oh, he didn't tell us to get stuffed. He said
no. He just basically said thanks, but no thanks.
He said thanks. I wouldn't mind coming on, but he was going through a bit of stuff, and he was getting trolled heavily online.
Yeah, and that was during COVID as well. Yeah,
that was during COVID. We probably should reach back out to him.
At least he got back to us.
At least he replied, Thomas. Like I don't even rate him anyway. He lives in a van.
Stop it! I like his stuff. I think he's a fantastic photographer, and I like what he does.
I'm not sold.
And vans are cool. All right, we've rabbited on for long enough. Beer donations, Cameron?
Same always, Mel. Mel and Andrew C. Thank you for
number one ticket holder, Mel. Thank you so much.
Supporting. Now, I've had a couple of complaints come through on the emails as well, Brendan.
About Mel?
No, about you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that they see me drinking a beer most episodes, and you're sucking on tea.
I know, a cup of tea. Sorry, I'll lift my game. I'm not really a midweek drinker, so there is that. I don't mind a beer.
Hang on a sec. You are. I've drunk with you in the midweek.
Well, yeah, plenty of times, but at the moment, no. I'm actually, yeah, I am. I've actually started watching very carefully what goes in here because when
you can't control what comes out.
When you get on the other side of 50, what you put in here is a lot harder to get off down there. So it's I'm just being a little bit more cautious, and then I'll completely blow all that away at BFOP. Anyway.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
No, that's awful. Yeah. Mel H and Andrew C, thank you for a beer donation.
Yeah. Thanks very much. That was good. I appreciate that.
Yes. You're back on the boat, Cameron.
I'm back on the boat tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
When this comes out, I'll be on the boat when this comes out.
So when are you coming through the heads tomorrow morning?
No,
Friday,
Saturday morning about it'll be about 4 o'clock, I reckon, 3 or 4 o'clock.
Well, I won't be waving
because it takes you 3 hours to go from the heads to Geelong.
Yes.
Why can't we just go straight across?
Yeah, I don't think there's a shipping channel there. I think you would run aground.
You go up all the way past Mornington.
I know, and then you hook across the bay.
It's just so nuts. Just drop me at bloody the heads. That'll do me.
Yeah, I'm telling you, put Point Lonsdale. There's a ferry terminal there, for God's sake. It's where the Sea Road ferry.
Yeah.
But then it's too far from Melbourne and Geelong. Anyway, we digress again.
Yep. Yes.
That's awesome. You're off to the Flinders Ranges again.
Yes, I am. Yeah. So we head off. Daniel and I will be driving to Adelaide on Sunday, and then we start the trip.
5-star Dan.
5-star Dan. He's back. He's had a workshop off. He's pretty happy with himself too, not having to do that. So yeah, we'll head up to the Adelaide on Sunday, then we drive up to grab our guests and drive up Flinders Ranges on the Monday. It's going to be early to mid 30s for the first 3 days are up there in temperature wise.
Bring it on. That's going to be fantastic. And everything will be so green. So it's, I think that's the perfect combo. Hot conditions, but still green. Yeah.
I'm on the hunt for a Sturt Desert Pea this trip.
Oh,
yeah. I've
South Australia's
national flower
their state emblem. Yes,
that's right. We saw some last time, but they're in a flower pot in the main street of Hawker. I'm like, no, I want them in a field or something like that. I want them I'll find one right next to a big dirty brown snake or something like that.
You need to talk to one of the rangers there and find out where they're hiding their Sturt Desert Peas.
I shall. So that's that, and then I'm back for a week or so. Then we're off to BFOP, but
yeah. But in between, you and I have a round of golf to take care of.
We are playing a game of whack.
Yes, indeed. We need to start the Down South Photo Show Cup and put a scoreboard up on the top here, and we'll do that.
That's 1-0, isn't it?
We haven't started it yet, Cameron. We just announced it. How can it be 1-0?
Because I chipped in from in the bunker. That should be 1-0.
That was a fantastic golf shot. It was a fantastic golf shot.
What about you? What are you doing? You just running a shop?
Well, before I mention what I've got coming up, Big shout out. So literally 3 times this week, I've had people come into my shop and say, "Hi, I'm a fan of the podcast. I just wanted to pop in and see your operation." How cool is that?
So they came in just to see what you looked like and then left.
Basically.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ian, who popped in today. Very enthusiastic man, who absolutely, he said without prompting, he said, "I love the show. It's fantastic. Keep up the good work." And I said, "For that, Ian, you get a shout out." So
Right. You didn't give him free prints though.
No. Oh, I gave him a cleaning cloth.
What a guy.
And a postcard. But we did have a couple of other people. One of your guy who came on your workshops earlier.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Mel Phillips.
Yeah, Phillips.
Not Mel H, Mel F, no, Mel P.
And also, was it, I want to say Nathan? Am I getting that right? No, not Nathan. Anyway, it'll come back to me. It was another guy that popped in who from Tassie, who was heading back to Tassie, and he'd been on a couple of your workshops as well. So
could have been, yes. Awesome.
And it's great because there's a lot of people from Tasmania who now get the Spirit of Tasmania that goes out of Geelong, which is 20 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
They're popping in, which is brilliant. So
it's fair to say that Tassie's put your shop on the map then.
No doubt. Because
if it wasn't stopping there, no one would be coming in to say g'day, would they?
Hasn't the Down South Photo Show put Tassie on the map?
Ooh.
Controversial.
Okay. We've got a
but as far as what my week is lined up, I'm just trying to think what we've got going on. Lots of stuff, just busy, which is great. And we're on the downhill run.
Sorry.
I can't believe it. What were we going to say?
I just saw the run sheet there, and it's got what's coming up. It's got Flinders Ranges and BFOP for me. And I thought yours says shout out to the visitors to the shop this week. I thought it said shout at the visitors who came into the shop.
I can do that if you want. I don't think that'll garner us many more listeners. But
I'm
anyway.
What are you writing down there? Shout at customers. You're like that old man out of The Simpsons. You know, he's always shaking his fist at things.
Old man shouts at cloud.
That's it.
Yeah, nice and busy. We've got heaps of stuff going on. I am preparing the back room of my shop finally, so I can move my canvas operation away from behind me right here and down to the shop, so I can do canvases down there and not have to sort of come home and face work. I want to come home and be home. Thanks. So there'll be. Yes, absolutely. So there'll be a bit of that going on. So anyway, looking forward to it. I think that's about it for the show. If you have a deer cam or if you want to communicate with us, by all means, hit us up in the comments below or head to our Facebook page or have them plug the website, dsps.com.au.
Is that up to date? I haven't looked.
I don't know. You do that.
We'll have a look at it. I might put up a new photo this week.
Yeah. Enjoy your time at the Flinders Ranges. We'll try and get an episode away while you're over there. We'll work something out. We will do. Yeah. And thanks everyone for listening to episode 94 of the Down South Photo Show. That's it. That's the podcast. We will see you and talk to you, and you'll hear us from episode 95 next week. Goodbye.
See you later. Bye.